So today we'll start with properties of region of convergence. Okay, so what are the different properties as we have seen by different problems in previous class. We'll see what are the particular different properties of this ROC. So ROC can be identified from the xz, right? And this xz has been coming from the xn, the given time domain signal. So this xz and xn both is having the contribution in ROC. So ROC should be defined so that we can able to uniquely represent this xz. Okay, so this first property is that ROC cannot contain any pole. First property, ROC cannot contain any pole, right? So why it is? This is because the ROC is defined as the set of all z for which z transform converges. Okay, so ROC must be such that our xz must be converge. This all the summations of these signals within this duration, either it is infinite duration or finite duration, this xz must be converged. So this ROC is defined as the set of all z. This ROC is defined for the set of all z, means for all the poles for which this z transform must converge. Okay, so therefore this xz must be finite for all z in the ROC. Xz must be finite for all z in the ROC, right? So this ROC is defined as the set of all z for which the z transform converges. That is what we've seen from the roots of the denominator. So therefore xz must be finite for all values of z in the ROC. So therefore xz must be finite for all z in the ROC. So let us consider if D is a pole, then what will be the condition of this xz at pole D? That will become infinite, right? So if we are having any pole, let us consider it is z is equals to D. So the magnitude of this x of D will become infinite, and this z transform does not converge at that pole, right? Therefore z transform does not converge. So that's why we can say that ROC should not contain any pole. Second thing is that the ROC for a finite duration signal includes the entire z plane. ROC for a finite duration signal include entire z plane, except some values, except at z is equals to 0 or z is equals to infinite. We'll see how, or both. Now let us consider, let our given xn is non-zero. It is non-zero on the interval n1 to n2, n2. So what will be our xz? Our xz will be the summation within this interval, n is equals to n1 to n2 x of n z to the power minus n. So this sum will converge provided that each of its term is finite in this duration, right? That this sum will converge if all the terms within this duration is of finite. So if a signal has any non-zero causal component, so let us consider this xn, it may be any signal. So if a signal has any non-zero causal component, causal component means right-sided signal, that is this n2 is greater than 0, this right side limit is greater than 0, then the expression for this exit will have a term involving z to the power minus 1, means z to the power minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, like this. It is in the right side for n2 positive. So if we have been going with the limit in the right hand side, that is in the positive side, so obviously this exit will include some terms which is having z to the power minus 1, like this, right? So then the expression for xz will have a term involving z to the power minus 1, and we can say the ROC cannot include or cannot contain z is equals to 0. If we have been considering z to the power minus 1 means it is 1 by z. So this ROC cannot contain any pole at z is equals to 0, right? The ROC cannot include z is equals to 0. Means if we have been going in the right hand side, that is previously we have seen alpha to the power n un, it is in the right hand side, so it is always including z to the power minus n for the duration up to how much this signal extending. So for that case it always including z to the power minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, like this, z to the power minus n terms, right? So for that case this ROC cannot include z is equals to 0. Now if the signal, it is first case. The second case, if a signal is non-causal, that is n1 is less than 0, then the expression of xz will have terms involving the power which is positive of z, involving z to the power positive terms, means involving z to the power 1, z to the power 2, something like that, plus 1, like this. So what we can say, and the ROC cannot include z is equals to infinite. So here if we have been going with the causal component of signal, then we cannot include the ROC at z is equals to 0. The ROC cannot include z equals to 0. If we have been dealing with this non-causal signal, that is in the left side, then we cannot include this ROC cannot include z is equals to infinite, right? Now if this n2, this upper limit, third case, if n2 is less than or is equals to 0, then what will happen? This n2 is less than or is equals to 0, then the ROC will include z is equals to 0. The ROC will include z is equals to 0. So this upper limit is in the left hand side. This upper limit itself in the left hand side. So obviously it will include z is equals to 0, because for z is equals to 0 this xz will be finite, right? Now if fourth case this n1 is greater than or is equals to 0, then the ROC will include z is equals to infinite, because that one will give us z to the power minus 1. So 1 by infinite is 0. So that makes xz finite, right? So what is the signal that is having the ROC of entire z plane? If we are having any signal at n is equals to 0, if we are having any signal at n is equals to 0, then what will be the xz? Let us consider xn. Let this xn is an impulse c of del n. So c of del n means our summation is within n is equals to 0 and pulse exists at n is equals to 0, z to the power minus 1 minus n, right? So if we consider our xz for this case, so this n is minus infinite to infinite, then it is c into del n z to the power minus n. So what is the value of this n? N is simply 0, right? So c into 1. So there is no z. So we can say ROC is entire z plane for this case. ROC is entire because it is a constant value, it doesn't depend upon z. So we can say this ROC is entire z plane. ROC is entire z plane. Okay. Now let us consider an infinite duration signal. Consider infinite duration signal. So what is the condition for convergence? This magnitude of xz must be finite, right? The condition for convergence is mod of xz must be finite, or if we go with the expression, then this mod of xz will become like this: mod of summation n is equals to minus infinite to infinite x of n z to the power minus n, which is less than or is equals to summation n is equals to minus infinite to infinite mod of x of n z to the power minus n, which may be is equals to, this one may be is equals to summation n is equals to minus infinite to infinite mod of x of n into magnitude of z to the power minus n. So what does it mean? We are taking the product of two terms and their magnitude. First we are taking the summation and then taking the magnitude. We are taking the summation of each term, then we are taking the magnitude. Next, this is, if this is a complex number, if this follows a complex number, then what is this represents? That we are taking the terms and their magnitudes. If we are taking, after that we are taking the summation. Here we are doing the summation, then we are taking the magnitude. These things results into a complex number, this x and z to the power minus n, this results into a complex number. So for that case, when we have been taking number of terms within this limit, then we are taking the summation, and after that we are taking the magnitude. This may be less than or is equals to if we are taking the magnitude of each term, and after that we are taking the summation. And if this is the product of two terms, if we are taking the magnitude of product of two terms, that is equals to the magnitude of each term if we are taking the product after that. Means taking the magnitude of two terms which are in product form, that is equals to individual magnitude and taking their product. Okay, so how we have been written this thing? The summation of a complex number, and if we are taking the magnitude of that, that may be less than or is equals to the magnitude of a complex number, and we are taking the summation. Okay, so what we can say, that this infinite sum, if we have been going with this infinite sum, then we can go with two terms in that. What is that? One is in the left hand side, this xz, it is having the limit from minus infinite to infinite. So for that case, if we have been splitting these two terms, one existing in the left hand side, one existing in the right hand side, then for this xz to converge, or for this xz to have this finite value, both of these terms which are existing in the left hand side as well as in the right hand side should individually be finite. Okay, so what we are doing, we are splitting this infinite sum into negative and positive time portions. Splitting the infinite sum into negative and positive time portions. So what we can write, let us write in terms of I minus of z is equals to this one in the left hand side, that is starting from minus infinite to up to minus 1. Minus infinite n is equals to minus infinite to minus 1 mod of x of n into mod of z to the power minus n. Okay, this one will be minus n, and the positive part will be plus of z summation n will be from 0, we have taken up to minus 1, 0 to infinite mod of x of n, then z to the power minus n. So this xz may be is equals to, this magnitude of this xz may be is equals to or less than the summation of these two, because both of them are complex number. So if these two are finite, then only we can say that yes, our xz is finite, right? So here this x of z magnitude, if you have been considering the magnitude only, then this summation of these two, we have been split this one in positive and negative time portion. Then if we are taking the summation of these two, this may result into same value or some kind of lesser than this xz. And if I minus of z and I plus of z both are finite, then this mod of xz is finite. So what does it mean? So how we can say this I minus z and I plus z is finite? If our xn given signal is of bounded or is of finite duration. If our xn is bounded, then that will produce this z transform in the form of bounded form. If our xn is unbounded, so obviously this iz, either it is in the left hand side, either it is in the right hand side, that will become unbounded. So what we can say? Yes, our xn must be bounded for xz to be bounded. Here this xn must be bounded. Now how to say that our xn is bounded? It depends upon some constant value. Let us, we have been considered previously xn is equals to alpha to the power n un. So it is depending upon our alpha. If our alpha is less than 1, then it is bounded. If it is greater than 1, it is unbounded. So if we have been finding some constant, let mod of xn can be bounded by finding the smallest positive constant. For the left hand side, let us consider it as a minus. For right hand side, let us consider it as a plus. And this z is r e to the power j omega n. So here it is also having the contribution of this r. Then r plus. So if we have been considering this left hand side, so how to define this is bounded in the left hand side? Mod of xn should be less than or is equals to a minus r to the power r minus to the power n. We have been not considering the phase angle, we are only been focusing on the magnitude. This is for n less than 0. And in the right hand side, how this xn can be bounded? This should be less than or is equals to a plus r plus to the power n. This n is greater than or is equals to 0. Okay. So here we have been saying that yes, our xz must be bounded to this to the xz should be converged. If xz needs to be converged, then this xz which is been splitted in negative and positive time portions, they individually must be finite. They individually must be finite. So this negative and positive portion of this z transformation will be finite. It is having the indications from the given signal xn. So this xn to produce an finite z transform either in the left hand side or in the right hand side, this xn must be of finite value within the duration, within the given duration. So how we are defining this is finite or this is bounded? By taking these terms, these constant values, that this xn magnitude is depending upon some constant as well as this r, the radius of the circle where it has been traversing. This z transform is traversing on the radius, on the circumference of the circle having this radius. So in the left hand side, it must be, this magnitude must be less than or is equals to a and this r, and in the right hand side it must be less than this multiplication of this a and r to the power n. Okay. So if this bound, if we have been considering this one, then what will be our I minus of z? For this left hand side, we must need to consider this I minus of z. So if the bound of xn, mod of xn is given by, let us consider it is some equation 1, it is some equation 2 is given by equation 1, then what will be this I minus of z? That will be less than or is equals to a minus, we have been considering the magnitude, summation n is equals to minus infinite to minus 1 r minus to the power n mod of z to the power minus n. Okay. Next, same way what we did earlier, we supposed to do summation n is equals to minus infinite to minus 1, then it is r minus by z mod of z to the power n. Then we supposed to change our range in the positive side, then this one needs to be taken that some k is equals to minus of n. So if we have been writing like this, a minus summation, this one will become k is equals to 1 to infinite, then mod of z by r minus whole to the power k. Here we have been considered k is equals to minus n. Okay, so this sum will converge. What is the condition of the convergence? This one should be less than 1. This mod z by r minus should be less than 1. That is, mod of z should be less than r minus. This sum will converge if mod of z less than or is equals to r minus. Okay, so this is the condition for this negative time portion of this xz. Now if we have been going with this positive time portion, any doubt? Okay, now if we have been going with this positive time portion, or this xn is given by, if the bound of xn is given by equation 2, then this positive time portion of this xz will be a plus, same way what we did, n is equals to 0 to infinite r plus to the power n mod of z to the power minus n. So this one will be a plus, n is equals to 0 to infinite. This one will be r plus by mod of z whole to the power n. Right? So what is the condition of this convergence? This sum will converge if this one is less than or is equals to 1. So our mod of z should be greater than r plus. So from this two here, from the negative time portion and from the positive time portion, what we can say that our xz will converge if our z is bounded within r plus and r minus. Therefore, if the limit of this mod of z within r plus and r minus, then both I plus of z and I minus of z will converge. And consequently x of z, which one? Right, it is plus, also converge. Now what is the thing we need to note? That this r plus is less than r minus. This r plus is less than r minus. So if this r plus becomes greater than r minus, then there are no values of z for which this xz will converge. Right? If r plus is greater than r minus, then there are no values of z for which exit will converge. Okay, next, same way what we have seen for the Laplace transform, that left sided signal should not have any value for n greater than or is equals to 0. This right sided signal should not have any value in xn for n less than 0, and the two sided signal is a signal that has infinite duration in both positive and negative direction. Okay, so if we have been going with this ROC, the ROC of right sided signal, it is property number 2, it is 3. Right sided signal is of the form mod of z should be greater than r plus. The ROC of left sided signal is of the form mod of z should be less than r minus, and the ROC of the two sided signal is of the form r plus less than mod z less than r minus. Okay, now let us solve a problem. X of n is given as minus half to the power n u of minus n plus 2 into 1 by 4 to the power n u of n. So what is the time duration for this? In the summation, u of minus n here, it is not u of minus n minus 1, it is u of minus, so it will start from minus infinite and extending up to 0. This one starting from 0 and going up to plus infinite, right? So we need to identify the ROC with this z transform. So first of all we need to find out xz, next we need to identify ROC for this. So what will be this x of z? For this we need to consider the summation n is equals to minus infinite to 0 minus, if as a whole we have been writing 1 by twice of z whole to the power n plus 2 into summation n is equals to 0 to infinite, it is 1 by 4z whole to the power n. Now if it was minus n minus 1, then we need to make this summation from 0 itself, and we need to add 1, what we did for the earlier problem, right? No, if un is given is in the form of u of minus n minus 1. Just see previous problem, last day problem, we have done that one as u minus n minus 1. For that case it will start from minus infinite going up to minus 1. So for that case, to make it in limit from minus infinite to 0, we have been adding 1, right? So this, what is the condition for this conversion? So we need to make it k, we need to go with from 0 to minus infinite, then it will go to positive, then this one will become minus 2z, it will become inverse. So let us consider this limit is starting from k is equals to 0 to infinite. This one will be minus of twice of z whole to the power k. Here we have been putting k is equals to minus n, same thing. Here n is equals to 0 to infinite 1 by 4z whole to the power n. So this first series, it will converge for this 2 of z should be less than 1, that is mod of z should be less than half, and for this one should be less than 1 means mod of z should be greater than 1 by 4, right? For this first series to converge, for this 2z should be less than 1, mod of twice of z should be less than 1. So this one results into mod of z should be less than half, right? And for this 1 by 4z should be less than 1, that means mod of z should be greater than 1 by 4, right? So both the series must converge for xz to converge. That is what we have seen. Either if we have been splitting the signal in positive time portion as well as in the negative time portion, then individually these two should converge for the convergence of this xz. So what will be this ROC? What will be this ROC? This z should be greater than 1 by 4, but it should be less than half. So it should be 1 by 4 less than mod of z should less than half. So if we have been finding this xz, then also from the poles and zeros configuration we can easily find out this ROC. So for this, what will be this xz? It is 1 by first term infinite sum plus minus of 2z, that one will become plus of 2z, then plus 2 is there 1 minus 1 by 4z, right? Then this z will come here, this one can be written as 1 by 1 plus twice of z, then it is 1 by right, so this one will go 4z here, then this one will become 4z minus 1, then 4z will go there. So if we have been taking only z, then this one will become plus z will go in the numerator twice z, z minus 1 by 4, right? So this one, if we have been writing, if we have been going with this z, if we have been going with this z, then this one will become z is equals to half. If we are taking this z common here, then this one will become 1 by z into, if we take z common, then can we take common, then if we take common, then it will become 1 by z. No need to take this one up to this. This is the most simplification what we can do. So this pole, first pole is located at z is equals to minus half, and for this z is equals to 1 by 4, right? So if we draw this z plane, it is imaginary of z, it is real of this z. So one pole is located at z is equals to minus half. Let us consider it is minus half, and another pole is located at z is equals to 1 by 4. Let us consider it is here 1 by 4, right? So it is greater than 1 by 4 but less than minus half. right? It is greater than 1 by 4, but it is less than minus half. So if we have been drawing a circle, another circle has been drawn. So this is the region of this exit to be converged. Region of convergence means if we are taking any value within this region for this z, this exit will be finite. That is what ROC, right? That is what our ROC is saying, that if we have been taking any value within this limit, then that will make our exit finite. Okay. Fine. Now here if you see, we have been defined that our ROC is 1 by 4 less than of mod of z less than half, right? So here the pole says that one is located at minus half, one is located at 1 by 4. So is there any difference? If we have been taking the radius of half in the positive x-axis, if we are taking the radius of minus half in the negative x-axis, so there is no difference, because we have been drawing a circle. Only the magnitude is the main concern here. Okay, only the magnitude. Fine. That's why for the ROC we have been taking only the magnitude of z. Now another signal is given as y of n. That one is given as minus half to the power n u of n plus same 1 by 4 to the power n u of n. So it is completely lying in the right hand side. So there is no issue. We simply go with the same range, n is equals to 0 to infinite minus of 1 by 2z whole to the power n plus 2 into summation n is equals to 0 to infinite 1 by 4z to the power n. So what is the region of convergence for this first series? This one should be less than 1. Mod of 1 by 2z should be less than 1. So for this one 1 by 2s of z should be less than 1. So this one results into mod of z should be greater than half, should be greater than half, and for this 1 by 4z should be less than 1. So this one is mod of z should be greater than 1 by 4. So what is the ROC? The combined ROC of these two, it should be the bigger one, that is mod of z should be greater than half. ROC here is the bigger range between these two signals, between these two individual ROC, that is mod of z should be greater than half. So in the same way, if we have been finding this y of z, it is y of z. So this one will become 1 by 1 plus 1 by twice of z plus 2 by 1 minus 1 by 4 of z. So this one will become z by z plus half plus 2y z by z minus 1 by 4. So here the poles are at z is equals to minus half and 1 by 4. So this ROC is the circle, is outside of circle, combining the pole of largest radius, right? The ROC is outside a circle containing a pole of largest radius. The ROC is outside a circle containing the pole of largest radius, that is z is equals to minus of half. Now for the same expression, another signal is given in the left hand side, that is it is given as W of n, that is minus half to the power n u of minus n, then 2 into 1 by 4 to the power n u of minus n. Both of these two signals are lying in the left hand side. So this W of z will be summation n is equals to minus infinite to 0 minus 1 by 2z whole to the power n plus summation n is equals to minus infinite to 0, 2 is there, 1 by 4z whole to the power n. So same, we need to take k is equals to minus n, then we need to change the limit, n is equals to 0 to infinite, minus of 2z whole to the power k plus 2 into summation n is equals to 0 to infinite 4z whole to the power k, right? So what is the region of convergence for these two signals? Here 2z should be less than 1 and 4z should be less than 1. So for this, mod of 2z should be less than 1 and for this mod of 4z should be less than 1. So this one results into mod of z should be greater than, should be less than, it is in the left hand side only, it is half, and this one results into mod of z should be less than 1 by 4, right? So here what is the region of convergence? The region of convergence is mod of z should be less than 1 by 4. So this ROC is inside a circle containing the pole of smallest radius. So if it is in the left hand side, then we will take the ROC inside a circle which contains the pole of smallest radius. So if we have been writing this one W of z, so this one will become 1 by 1 plus twice of z plus 1 by 1 minus, so it is 2 by 1 minus 4 of z. So from that, one pole is located at, yes, I'm just drawing, just wait for a minute. This one will be minus of half and this one will be z of 1 by 4. So here this ROC is greater than half, right? So if you have been drawing this one, let us draw here only z, it is real of z. So one pole is located at z is equals to minus half, let us consider it is minus half, and this one is located at 1 by 4, right? So it says that if it is in the right hand side, then the ROC will be the circle containing the pole of largest radius. So here the largest radius is half, here the largest radius is half. So it will have all the region outside of this circle. Outside of this circle. It is for the right hand sided signal. Now for this case, if we draw here, it is imaginary of z, it is real of z, then it is having same one pole az minus half and one az 1 by 4. So it is for this case the ROC will contain the circle of the pole of lowest radius. Here it is the pole of largest radius, here it is the pole of lowest radius. So it is 1 by 4. It is this region inside the circle of lowest radius. The ROC is inside a circle containing the pole of lowest radius. Here z is equal to 1 by 4. Lowest or smallest radius, here the largest, here the smallest. Okay, so 3 cases we have seen. Here this ring, if it is the two-sided signal, then it should be inside the highest radius and outside the smallest radius. For the right hand sided signal, it should be the outside of the largest radius, and for the left hand sided signal, it should be the inside of the smallest radius, the pole which contains the smallest radius. Fine. Any doubt, please? Same concept, whatever we have seen for the Laplace transform, that was for the continuous time signal. Here it is also having the same concept, only the difference we have been dealing with the discrete time signal in time domain. Same concept. Next, in the next class we will start with the properties of Z transform.